I'm going to share with you our blueprint for how we're building our $30 million painting company to over $100 million a year, and how you can use the same principles that we're using to scale in your own business too, whether you're doing $100,000 a year or $10 million a year. This framework we're going to walk through will help you scale your business without burning out. So first, the big mistakes. We screwed up a lot of things before we ever did things the right way. So I'm gonna tell you about the biggest mistake that we ever made, but the best learning lesson we ever had that really has set the stage for the growth that we are now experiencing. So in 2014 to 2016, we started to expand into a lot of locations. At the time, we had our first company. It was a $2 million a year business out in Colorado called Foothills Painting. And back in 2014, there were not a lot of companies doing those numbers in the painting industry. I had someone else running Foothills Painting at the time. I'm like, I need to go bring on more partners. In 2014, we started one. It was good enough to be a success. In 2015, we started 4 or 5 more. And then in 2016, we started 9 companies. We had zero infrastructure at the time. It was me doing a one-on-one call with 15 people every week, and that was it. What you were getting as a partner of ours was a call with me every week. And the thing that hurt probably the most was we basically neglected the 4 or 5 companies that were successful, that we were partners with, that we weren't growing. Why don't we just build one incredible business, one really great business model? Let's build a $10 million company that's healthy, that's successful, it's amazing in all these ways, and then we can start to expand. And so that's really what we set out to do. As you build the business, there's harder and harder problems to solve in the business. The mistake most people make is rather than solving those harder problems, they go to expansion. But the longer you stick with one business and the more problems you solve, the more you have to offer. We wanted to just stick with one thing for a long time to get to a place that nobody really gets to. We've gotten incredibly good at recruiting and training and developing people. We've gotten incredibly good with our CRM and our financial auditing and tracking to the penny. We've gotten incredibly good with marketing. There are certain things that we are so much better at now than we ever would have been 5 years ago, and that is the thing that's going to be the most valuable for us to offer. So the lesson I think for everyone is stay in your lane longer than other people, and that's what will differentiate you more than other people. And one final point is, by us staying narrow and staying in our lane for longer, we create more cash and more capital, we create more leadership, we create more systems, and we create more leverage. So now we can take what we've built and it's easier to build the next thing because what we have to offer is a better offer. I can go out there and not say, hey, who wants to partner with me and build $1 million thing? And say, hey, who wants to partner with me and build a $10 million thing? And I can attract better partners, and I have a better offer, and I can ask for more because I can give more. A few years ago, our whole business model changed and we started to focus on acquisitions, not startups. So let me talk about Jess Abruzzo. I coach painting contractors, and I have for the last decade. So I work with hundreds of painting contractors across the country and help them build their company to $2 or $3 million a year. And a few years ago, I did one of my first in-person events. Now we do in-person events every year. But Jess came to the first one, and throughout the event, I kept referencing our painting companies and our partnership and National Painting Group. And on the last morning, Jess came up to me and was like, yo, dude, what's the deal with this partnership thing? I want to know more about it. And at the time, we were only planning on doing startups. We hadn't even considered acquisitions. After that event, we had several calls with Jess, and we felt like it was just a perfect match. Values aligned, same goals, what we offer is what she wanted. It just made sense. So we valued the company. We made her an offer to buy a minority stake in the company, to partner up to help her grow and scale faster by tapping her into all of our systems and everything. And it's been a huge success with Jess. She's been super happy. We've been super happy, and we're growing really, really quickly with her. About 6 months later, something similar happened with another coaching member, Emmanuel. And after looking at all this, we said, wow, this is a much better way to go. And so now we do acquisitions. So there's 4 main steps in the acquisition process. And the first one is awareness. So awareness is just making people, your potential future partners or acquisitions, aware that there's even an offer. And so for us, it's through our coaching program. Once there's awareness, the second step is some kind of introduction. So that could be through one-on-one calls or group webinars, but there's some introductory thing to say, hey, do we even wanna get deep in this conversation? The third part of our process we call alignment. So this is where we're spending multiple calls going back and forth to sort every single concern out. We go through everything to make sure we're aligned and we want to partner and our partner wants to partner. And then finally, we get into due diligence and agreements. Once that happens, then we kick everything off with our future partner. So that's the way you can think about future acquisitions. expansions, but I wouldn't ever think about expansion like that until you first built a really strong model in your first company. Once we've brought on a new partner, we plug them into our triangle model, which makes growing a business a lot easier. So one way you can think about building a business is in a triangle, that there's three fundamental pieces of building a business. Along the bottom, we've got logistics. Logistics includes three things. One, HR and legal. Two, tech, like your CRM and technology, and then three is gonna be finance. But if you're gonna scale a company, then there are certain things you need in place for HR to protect yourself. There's certain things you need in place for legal to protect yourself. You should be super dialed in on your finances and accounting, because big companies, you need to know where every penny is. You need to know it's collected. You need to know it's accurate. You need to be managing for things like that. And then every company needs to have some kind of tech solution in place for CRM and keeping all the customer data in. The next leg of the triangle is system development. There's three parts to system development. You have to learn what you need to learn to build the system, then you have to build the system, and then you have to optimize the system. So the bigger the business gets, the more systems need to be built, the more need to be maintained, the more need to be optimized. Like, it's an ever-growing task, and it's a big one. And then the third leg of the triangle is what we call team development or team building. There's three parts here. We have recruiting. We need to get really good at recruiting and finding great talent. Two is training. We need to get really good at training people to perform at a high level so that as the company gets bigger, it doesn't get worse, it gets better. And then third is developing leadership. If you aren't developing leadership, then that's the thing that ultimately caps the growth of the business. This is something that's also massively underestimated, is what it takes to build an incredible training and development program inside of an organization. So that's part system development, and then it's part execution of that system. So when we look at our model with partners, our job is we've already taken care of the bottom part of the triangle. We've already built all the systems for HR and legal and can install them for people. We've built all the financial accountability, which was really difficult to build in our industry. There's no like pre-existing solution to that. But how can we know every single penny is accounted for every single week, allocated appropriately, so you can trust the numbers? And then the second thing we do is we do all the system development. So all of our partners can contribute their ideas and their requests to systems that get built, but ultimately we're writing the playbooks, filming the videos, and putting them into a structure in the business such that they get actually implemented. The third leg of the triangle is really what our partners end up doing. Their job is to run the day-to-day operations of the business, and all the people in the business report to them. But we go side by side with them recruiting, and we have company-wide, system-wide training programs in place to train up their employees by their side, and leadership development programs company-wide to help them develop leaders in their company. So what we've done is taken this triangle and taken as much of it off our partner's plate as possible and done it in an incredibly systematic way that's very efficient for us, but a huge value add to our partners. So I started this video out with how we're building our business to 100 million, but 100 million is not the goal. Our goal is not a number. Our goal is our model and our process, and then some number will happen. So our growth over the last few years went from 2021, we did 9 million in system-wide revenue, and then 12 million, and then 16 million, and then 23 million. And this year we're on track for 35 to 40 million before any acquisitions we do at the end of the year. And so for us, it's not really about getting to 100 million. In fact, every time we talk about acquisitions, for me and my partners, we say, you know what, we're totally okay with making 0 acquisitions for the rest of our life. We love the 11 partners and companies we're running right now, and there is tons of opportunity for us to improve those companies and make those companies better. And if that's all we ever do, we're totally cool with that. And if the right people come along that we're super values aligned with and we really love them and we feel like it's a perfect fit, then we'll bring on 200 more partners. So for us, it's not driving or forcing the goal. We're not trying to get to a number. We're focused on building our business the right way. And for us, we have a simple flywheel, and it's the 4 things that we're focused on, that if we do these 4 things really, really well, what most likely is gonna happen is insane growth. And it will likely be way more than 100 million. The first thing is building incredible model companies. So we have 2 companies that are our biggest companies. It's Foothills Painting, which is the company I started in 2010, and Elkhorn Painting. They're both trending for somewhere close to $10 million this year. They're very profitable. They have leadership teams that run the companies, and they're growing quickly. So Ben, who runs Foothills, isn't really involved in Foothills anymore. Hunter, who runs Elkhorn, is not really involved in Elkhorn anymore, and we're gonna continue to make those companies better and better and better. We believe that we can get those companies to 15, 20, $25 million a year over the next 5 years, and so that's the first thing we're focused on. Second thing we're focused on is awareness. We're just gonna continue to increase awareness about the opportunity to partner with us. We're gonna do that in a few ways. I'm starting now with like this video, and I'm gonna start mentioning it more at our events within our membership. Our coaching program is growing rapidly right now, so we just have more members and have more people we're talking to. And so that's really simple. Just over time, we're gonna keep increasing the awareness of what we're doing and that there's opportunities to partner with us if you're the right person and we're aligned. The third thing is gonna be just our acquisition process. We're pretty dialed on that, but we wanna continue to get better at really just the whole process of acquisitions and making sure we're bringing on the right people, setting good expectations, due diligence, and the efficiency there, and also continue to just optimize the value exchange with people that we partner with. The fourth thing that we're super focused on is our actual model to support our partners. So we have created a very elegant model, and we have an amazing leadership team and coaches and subject matter experts and structure for how we move companies really quick and grow them fast without burning out any of our partners. Then probably what's gonna happen is more people wanna partner with us. So I think the lesson here and the point here is that when you just focus on building something truly great, it takes time to do that, but that's what makes you unique and that's what makes amazing things happen. So there's two ways that we can build a business. We can build something mediocre and then we can sell our asses off, or we can build something so fucking great that it sells itself. For us, the early days, it was make something mediocre and then try to sell the hell out of it, but the margins suck, it's super stressful, it's super hard, it's a grind. What we've been doing lately is just build amazing companies and solve harder problems and take your time. And that is yielding such better results for us, so much more joy, so much more fulfillment for everybody involved. If you like this video, I wanna recommend another video I did. It's my productivity system, but really it's a whole bunch of principles that I've learned and applied over the years that's allowed me to be insanely productive and build everything that I've built working 30 hours a week or less, like 95% of the time. So if you wanna tap into some really powerful principles that allow you to produce huge results without insane amounts of work, then check out this video.